Hello and welcome back to another video from me, FPL Crusader. Call me Luke if you wish. It's a quick turnaround between game week 30 and 31, so I had to slap some of these stats up pretty quickly. Let's have a look into 31. I won't talk about game week 30. I got a green arrow, but we won't talk about it too much because it's only really 1 or 2 days, and then all of a sudden, boom, we're straight in. One of the major things we need to worry about for game week 31 is the amount of injuries that we've got throughout our entire teams. Have a look at the top line under each one of these. All these injuries are highly owned. We're looking 34, 37. No one's under 20 there. So Clover, Wood, Trent's still 20% owned. Those are very loyal to him, but I'm assuming he'll come off. He'll come off the teams in the wild card. We've got Gabriel there. He could be out for the season. I heard some early mail this morning about him being out for the season. Thank you, Getty Images, for Ola Aina's one there. I didn't see that. That's funny. 28% owned, and then 25% owned is Erling Haaland. And I believe he'll be out for a while. So for Kleiber, he's got to knock West Ham and next. It's not a huge game for them. They can probably win that without him. He might not be needed there. I've benched him. Feel free to play him, but I think they can easily rest him if they need to. Chris Wood, he's still doubtful. He didn't play in the Cup, didn't play in the game week last week. They've got Villa away. He might need to come back, so maybe that will be one that he comes back for. I'm not entirely sure there. Trent, as I said, ankle, Madrid, they need to plan ahead. Expect his minutes to be spared, I guess. I wouldn't be jumping both feet into Trent at the moment. Gabriel could be out for the season. Could be done. Probably won't be needed against Everton, but yeah, it looks like a season ender there. Away to Villa for Nottingham Forest for Ola Aina. They can rest him for that. He's a wide defender. It depends on the impact he has for the entire back line. I'm not entirely sure there. And Erling Haaland, if you've got him, just go to Marmoush. He's scoring goals anyway. What are the plum fixtures this week? Well, you'd say Bournemouth away to West Ham be pretty plum. They're in pretty good form. That being said, since everyone's piled in on Bournemouth, they haven't won a heck of a lot of games. Ipswich, they're in good form. They got Wolves at home. They might be favourites for that one without Cunha. Newcastle away to Leicester is the plum fixture. Alexander Isak will be a captain favourite. Spurs at home to Southampton. But who do you captain? You just don't know, do you? I mean, Sonny's a shell of his former self. Doesn't even start every game. I don't really think Ange knows what his best team is, or if he even has a best team. Form in the last 6 game weeks, Mo Salah's right up there. He's way ahead of everyone else. I mean, he's just so good. Bruno's had a lot of good form. He just doesn't have the team around him, so the form doesn't equate into points as much as you'd like. I just think if he had imagine if he was playing with someone like I don't even look good to have played with Salah, but even if he had like a Marmoush in front of him or an Alexander Isak, he would be so good. He'd be back to his best. Luis Diaz, his form again is right up there, but he's not getting the points at all. Mirko Marino is getting a few goals. He's proving to be that goal-scoring defensive midfielder that Declan Rice wants to be, but Marino's just a bit ahead of him at this stage. Elanga, again, he got the goal, and he's looking much better. Milinkovic is looking good as well. Then you got Timber there. That's purely because of the goal, I think, and Wissa. But Brentford's fixtures start to turn very soon. They've got Chelsea this week, which is a London derby, and they'll consider that a West London derby for them. I don't think Chelsea care about it too much in terms of that respect, but they just want to beat everyone in London, as you'd expect for teams who are in the same city. XGI over the last 6, Haaland, Salah, Palmer, Isak, the top 4. As always. And Buemo and Watkins are still staying strong, so they're still in top 6. Wissa is there as well. Interesting that Mateta and Sarr are creeping up as well. Sarr's XA is creeping up more than it had been in the past. His XG is still quite high. Mateta hasn't really come back and hit the ground running. So that's why a lot of people might go to Sarr instead of Mateta on their wildcard. If they are doing wildcard 31, he's still got 11 returns, Sarr. Mateta's got 14, but wouldn't mind betting 11 returns out compared to 14 for a forward. The midfield will get more points. And Buemo and Wissa, that'll change. especially with all the doubles coming up. So they'll start dropping off that. Watkins, maybe Rogers, maybe Asensio will start getting into this group, and the Crystal Palace guys will probably start going up. But the top 4 or 5, definitely the top 3 and 4, I think will stay there for the rest of the season. And I don't think they'll really be touched by anyone else in terms of XGI. The cream really is rising to the top. Palmer's, I wouldn't say he's back to his best, but he got an assist this morning against Andrew's side. So if you've got him, it's probably a keep right now. Expected FPL points over the next 2 game weeks is Salah, 12 points, Palmer, 11. Marmoush has that 10 points. He's got the Manchester Derby this week, but we expect him to do pretty well against that. Isaac, well, we know he's got a double coming up soon. You probably expect that 10 to be closer to 15. Then you got the usual suspects all the way down to Gabriel, Bowen, and Raya. So that was before Gabriel's seen to be out. I'd expect Saka to be on this list next week, and you'd think Mateta would be there as well, and or Sarr/Eze, maybe even Munoz. They've got 2 doubles in a row. How good is that? 2 doubles in a row. Now the question is, do you go all in on their 2 doubles in a row? We've seen this so many times in FPL where we've had teams having multiple doubles. We go all in and they don't perform as we expect, and then all of a sudden we need to take transfers or hits to get them out. So if you're bringing a hit in and then a hit out, that's 8 points. So for them to score on that double, they need to score 20 plus for it really to justify your 8-point hit. Speaking of bringing people in, most wanted for game week 31, Bukayo Saka. He's clearly a replacement for Cole Palmer. 355,000 of you have already done it. He scored. He's going to start out and he's got a double in 33. It sounds like a no-brainer. We've got Marmoush next. He's scoring. Haaland's out till game week 36, we believe. He's a guaranteed starter. He's in goal-scoring form and he's got great fixtures. He's got 2 doubles coming up, one of those in 36 itself. So he will play that as well. And 185,000 have already brought in Saliba purely, I wouldn't say purely, but probably as a replacement for Gabriel or to accompany Gabriel and someone else. They do have a double in 33. My question now with the double Arsenal defense would be, with Gabriel out, would their defense be as good? Do we need to go all in on the defense? I think one should suffice, and whether that's your Saliba or even a Timber who can sneak a goal now and then. Calafiori has done that as well. That's up to you. Or maybe you just play it safe and go with Raya, because picking a goalkeeper is just as hard. Now, looking at game week 31 captaincy, I think it's a 3-way tie between Isaac, Salah, and Sonny. If Sonny gets the start, they're home to Southampton. He's due a haul. And his last few game weeks, the XG has been really good. So I think Sonny is about to, I don't want to say explode, but I think he'll do something good against Southampton if they give him the run. Salah, he's away to Fulham. Would you bet against him? Anthony Robinson did pretty well against him in the return fixture earlier in the year at Anfield. But Salah hasn't scored in 1 or 2 games now, and usually that means he'll start doing something good. I think the majority of people will play it safe this week and captain Salah, purely because Isaac away to Leicester is not too bad, but he is flagged. I don't know why it says glagged. Flagged, but he does have a double on 32. But it is an alternative. I'll be taking an alternative this week because my rank's shocking and I need to do something about it. Let's have a look at the goals scored as well there. Liverpool way out in front on 70 still. Manchester City on 57. Arsenal, Spurs, 55. Chelsea, Brentford, Forest. And as I said last week, I expect Bournemouth to get up there, but they only scored 1, but there you go. Forest scoring 50 goals. Not many of us would have expected that to be top 7 in terms of goals scored. So congratulations to the Forest side. They are doing things that other people or at the start of the season thought they would never get to do. So congratulations to them. I wouldn't mind betting their team gets a little bit decimated in the transfer window, but it doesn't really matter, does it? They're in Champions League form and they're in Champions League position. So if they can, that'll be a good carrot to dangle to keep some of their players. Differentials for this week, the players who have got a decent form in this game week. Sorry, decent form and also have a good fixture this game week. Evan Nielsen, they're away to Hammers. What's going on at Hammers? Are we really seeing the fact that Hammers are dropping way down the table? I don't know. To me, and I don't mean to be rude, but it feels like Potter's a bit of a one-hit wonder. He hasn't really succeeded anywhere else but Brighton. That being said, his replacements and the last 2 or 3 managers from him have also succeeded. So maybe he was just the right place, the right time guy. I'm not entirely sure. He did do very well at Brighton. I think he was amazing, but maybe he's just one of these managers who hasn't quite got his niche yet. Doesn't really know what his correct setup is. Flourished at Brighton because he had a ragtag bunch of championship manager players and he made them play well. I'm not entirely sure. I would back Evan Nielsen to score again away to Hammers. He's had 2.16 XGI in the last 3 game weeks, which is huge for a single player. That's good for a team, but for an actual player, that's amazing. So good on him. Jacob Murphy away to Leicester with Gordon and Isaac flagged. Here's the next best option, and I think he can do pretty good this week away to Leicester. He likes playing against them. Also, they've got a double next week as well. So if you did bring him in for this week, then it probably pays out next week with that double. And Asensio, he is becoming a super sub. Villa do have a couple of doubles later in the piece, 33 and 36, if from memory. He is becoming a super sub, as I said. The last 2 times he's come off the bench, he's got points. He's got 2, got a goal and assist this week, just gone, coming off the bench, only played 25 minutes. So he's playing pretty well. That being said, looking at the goals conceded right here, Southampton, Leicester, and Ipswich, all shocking. Wolves, just as bad. As I said, West Ham don't know what they're doing. Brentford also quite high up there. But Villa, a couple of years ago, they were, or last year I think it was, they were almost Champions League quality. Now they're conceding 1.5 goals a game. Not good enough. Interesting to see Brentford, Brighton, and Villa there rounding out the top 8, and West Ham. So you wouldn't expect to see that this time last year, put it that way. So differentials for the week: Evan Nielsen, Murphy, and Asensio. That's just a 1-week punt. So good luck with that. Let's have a look at the Crusaders crosshairs. So these are the players I'm considering for each position. We'll run through it relatively quickly because they haven't changed too much. There is one person that's there that's new, and that's Miliana Martinez from Villa. If any content creator or any news agency or any punditry uses any photo of Martinez, it's not him doing this, then they're doing it wrong. That is what he's known for, and that should be on a tombstone when he passes away. Because every time he gets a trophy, he does that and he puts that silly face. I need a new goalkeeper. I have Jordan Pickford, and he needs to go. And I can tell you I have made a goalkeeper transfer, but we'll keep that for right at the very end. Has that for a bit of bait. So we've got Nick Pope in goal. I think they've got a double in 32. They've also got Leicester this week. 33, they've got Villa, which is pretty average. And 34, they've got Ipswich, which is interesting. They're tough games they've got at home, and we know they're really good at home. They travel like sport milk. They're not that flash, but we know if their tough games are at home and their easier games are away, and they're probably in a better position to pick up some points. Villa themselves, they've got Forest this week. That's at home, but it's not good. 32, they've got Southampton. So if you're going to bench boost on 32, Martinez would be the one. They've got Newcastle, Manchester United in 33. That's a double. They've got a double in 36, which is Bournemouth and Tottenham as well. So their doubles aren't easy at all. However, they're still doubles, right? And it's a goalkeeper. So set and forget. Henderson for Crystal Palace. They got Brighton at home this week. As we just saw, Brighton concede a lot of goals. They also score a fair amount of goals. And Crystal Palace are at home, though. So we'll see how it goes. They've got two tough doubles afterwards. They play Manchester United, Manchester City, Newcastle, Bournemouth, and Arsenal over the next 2 game weeks. Those are 4 good teams. And they got Forest, Tottenham, Wolves, and Liverpool. They got a tough run towards the end of the season. Palace, they're in no contention for relegation. They're also not in contention for Europe. You could argue, what are they playing for? Do you need to go all in? That is something definitely to consider. Or do you just put Henderson on there because he's got 2 doubles and just set and forget and don't worry about it? Edison from City, this is probably the rogue one because Ortega could play at any time. They don't have a run of great fixtures until 35, where it's Wolves, Southampton, Bournemouth, but then they blank in 37, potentially, if they make the final of the FA Cup. Newcastle with Pope, as I said, Manchester United, Crystal Palace, they got some good fixtures straight away, but he is one to consider. And Sells, he doesn't have any doubles, but they're the best defense in the league in terms of points. They got Villa, Everton, Spurs, which is easy for them. Brentford, Palace, Leicester, West Ham. So it's a pretty good run for Pretty good run for Nottingham Forest. So Sells will be one of the ones I'll be keeping an eye on. Let's have a look at the defenders. We've got Luca Dean, Vardiol, Livramento, Munoz, and Milinkovic. Similar reasons for Luca Dean, just because they got that double and a pretty plum fixture in 32. They got another double on 36 as well. Do I expect points out of Luca Dean? No, obviously not. He is a huge troll, but purely turning up points, I think he'll do well. Crystal Palace, Munoz, that's a no-brainer. If you don't have him, I would pile in. Doesn't matter what his fixtures are. He can score goals. Vardy for City. This time of year, he usually starts getting a few chances. So he's got a double on 33, then a double on 36. I just think I'm just going to play him every week and just hope for the best. I think I'll get some points out of him. Livramento for Newcastle. He's going to get turn up and clean sheet points. I don't expect too much attacking returns from him. But they've got some good fixtures at home. They've got Ipswich, they've got Manchester United, and they've got Everton on the final day as well. They could be fighting for a Champions League or a European place by then. And Milinkovic, as we said last week, he can score anywhere. He's got a big fat head. He can get that onto a cross. He's playing in a team that loves a cross into the middle, and he's got a lot of green fixtures down there as well. So if you're on a wild card, you could probably just slap on a Forest defender just because it's covering all bases. Let's have a look at the midfielders, and obviously Bukayo Saka is back. Double on 33. You have to have him for that, I think. It's a bit of a no-brainer at this stage. If you've got him now and then you've got him for Brentford, then you're probably going to get some points. But for me, I'm probably going to go Palmer to Saka on 33. Marco Asensio, this could be Rashford, it could be Rodgers, it could be, who's the other guy that scored? Daniel Mellon. But Asensio seems to be the man of the moment currently. Two doubles, 33 and 36. They've got Southampton and 32. Why not? The doubles aren't easy, as I said. It's Newcastle, Manchester City, then Bournemouth and Tottenham. They're not easy. Ismail Sarr, Mateta has come back and not played as well as he was before he got the injury, unfortunately. Whether he's out of form or he's being a bit more cautious because the injury is worse than we think. Sarr's got two doubles in 32 and 33. He's got Wolves in 37. Tottenham in 36. Just chuck him in your team, play him in those doubles, and then you can choose to whether you want to play him against Forest or not. Savio. Now this could have been any one of the players for Manchester City. I see Grealish got his first goal in what feels like 3 years this game week, but Savio is one who's going to create things. See where he goes in the derby, whether he gets the minutes. The big concern with any Manchester City midfielder is the minutes, but I had to put them on there because they got some really good fixtures. Anthony Gordon is flagged. Leicester, Manchester United, Crystal Palace, Villa, then Ipswich. Then they got Brighton. They finish off with Everton. So I'm probably going to hold off on Gordon for now because I've got Mbeumo and I can easily go Mbeumo to Gordon. If he's flagged, I'll let him play Leicester or let him get rested for Leicester, but I might bring him in 32, which I think is the smartest plan. But if you're doing something different, if you already got him, I hope you get some more points out of him. Let's have a look at the forwards. Watkins, Evan Nielsen, Mateta, Marmouche, and Alexander Isak. So it really depends on what you want your front three to be. Now, the Mateta, Marmouche, and Isak seem to be what everyone's doing on social media. I've got Evan Nielsen, Marmouche, and Isak myself. I am jealous of those who have Watkins. There's an argument to say that after 34, you can go Isak to Watkins to capitalize on those fixtures. But Watkins doesn't play in 37, so you just never know. You just never know. But Newcastle finish off with Chelsea, Arsenal, and Everton. And if that could be very, very important, if they are fighting for a European spot. If they're not, then they got nothing to fight for. Either them or Villa will have something to fight for. Maybe that's who you lean on. Evan Nielsen, he scored last week and the week before. He's got West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Manchester United, Arsenal. A tough run, but they've got a double on 36 as Villa and Manchester City. So that could be very interesting. Mateta, as I said before, he's got two doubles coming up. I just think his form has dipped. The man of the moment, Marmouche, United, Palace, Everton, Villa, Wolves. 36 is plum. Southampton, Bournemouth. I think he'll do really well there and against Wolves. Haaland's supposed to be back in 36, but whether or not he'll be back and playing 4 minutes, you just don't know. And Isak, as I said to you earlier, keep him for now. We've probably all got him, but keep him for now. then I think come game week 35, it's time to make a decision on Alexander Isak, whether or not you can eke a few more points out of him by bringing him on to Watkins. If I was running a wild card for this week, for game week 31, this is what my wild card would look like. I've actually got this for the fixtures on game week 32, but this is how the team would look. So no Palmer. I've got triple Palace and triple Newcastle. I've got a couple of City, and I've got a couple of Villa as well, or just one. Oh, a couple of Villa as well. So I've got Henderson in goal, and that's a rotation with Emiliano Martinez. I've got Livramento, Vardiol, Munoz, and they're supported by Saliba, who was on the bench for this game, but that could be anyone. And Murillo, that could also be Milinkovic. Salah, Jacob Murphy, because I couldn't quite get to Gordon, Bukayo Saka, and Rodgers. Rodgers is the captain for some reason, but that can be anyone. Isaac, Marmoush, and Mateta. So Mateta after this can change to anyone, really. After the 2 doubles he's got, then you probably get rid of your Palace assets. Murillo, Kluivert, and Saliba on the bench. It's a pretty strong-looking team. I think that's where I would go if I had my wildcard. I don't. But I do like pulling up these wildcard drafts myself purely because it helps me plan out my transfers to know where I want to go if I want to have a similar team. I probably can't get to Livramento, but I think he's a sneaky punt. I would have put Trippier on there. That being said, Trippier is flagged now. So with the game in 2 days, I think Trippier being flagged and he's early to mid-30s, they'll probably rest him for that. So, but everyone needs Saka to step up. So that's why he's the man of the moment there. FPL challenge for this week is boring as heck. Park the bus. It's the Jose Mourinho challenge. So it's 7 aside. It's goalkeepers and boring defense. So I've got 2 Spurs in the team. Why would I have defense with 2 Spurs? But it is what it is. 2-5-0-0. I've got wide defenders and Saliba as my captain. So I got Pope and Vicario on goal. They're playing Leicester and Southampton respectively. I've got Munoz, Saliba, Kirkes, Pedro Porro, and Milinkovic, just because I want to get some points out of them. And it's a little bit different. So bit of a boring game week this week, but it is what it is. If you don't play challenge, then don't worry about this particular slide, but I play it just because it's something a little bit different. It breaks it up, even for like 5 minutes. I don't spend much time on it at all. I spend maybe like 5, maximum 10 minutes, probably not even. The only time I spent 10 minutes on it was I think I couldn't log in properly, so I had to reset my password, but it's okay. But this is probably the least exciting one, so let's piss that off straight away. Here's my team as we speak. Live rank after the game this morning. So I got a 270k Green Arrow. I got 65 points last week, purely because of some Murillo bench jam. But I've made 2 transfers this week. I've taken a hit. So if you've tuned in before, you know I've got Pickford and I need to get rid of him. So I've got rid of Pickford. I've brought in Nick Pope. He'll be one of my set and forget keepers. I've also gotten rid of Christopher Nkunku, who was just burning a hole in my bench. And I've got Ismaila Sarr there for reasons mentioned earlier about his doubles. And I think he'll take on some of the goal-scoring threat from Mateta. I do have some defensive issues. I got Murillo, Huijsen, and Mazraoui. I don't like either of them. I think Murillo's okay, but Huijsen and Mazraoui, they probably both need to go. I just can't afford to spend that money on defenders at the moment. Alexander Isak is my captain this week. I've gone rogue away from Salah. So the team is Pope in goal away to Leicester, Munoz at home to Brighton, Vardiol in the Manchester Derby at Old Trafford, Huijsen away to West Ham. I'm banking that West Ham can't do much. And Mbeumo and Palmer play each other at Brentford, Vitality Stadium. Salah is the vice captain away to Fulham. Sarr's at home to Brentford. Isaac is the captain away to Leicester. If he doesn't play, then I've got it on Salah. It's a no-brainer. Marmoush in the Manchester Derby. It's time to step up, buddy. Let's see what you've got. And Evan Nielsen is in goal-scoring form away to West Ham. I've benched Murillo. I've benched Kluivert, and I've benched Mazraoui, who's been third bench for a while. I don't think Kluivert will play. He's orange flagged, so there's only a 50% chance. And they don't really need him to play this game. I don't think they can rest him for the week after. That being said, I have moved Kluivert and Murillo around, so Kluivert is my first drop on the bench, just in case Isaac gets injured and Kluivert does play. That way Salah will be my captain and Kluivert will get the points from him. But Look, it's going okay. Next week, I've got doubles for Munoz, Saar, Pope, and Isaac. I don't think I'll need to bring in anyone else. I do need to spend one other transfer. Not necessarily next week, but if I want to bench boost, I need to get rid of Fabianski because he's not playing. Maybe I need to wish that Areola gets an injury. I don't really want to wish that on anyone, but it is what it is. And Bueno is going to go soon, and I'm maybe going to go Murphy. I'm in two minds, actually. I might just keep him Bueno. He ticks over okay. He got 8 points. Didn't play that well. Got a penalty. Fine. Done. What am I really expecting from Murphy in a single double? And then after that, the fixtures are okay, but he's never going to be the focal point of their attack, especially if by then that Gordon and Isaac are fit. I don't know really what I'm expecting from Jacob Murphy. He'll be back on the bench. Third drop, fourth drop anyway. So, yeah. I think I'll keep the team like as it is, like this now. Next week, I've got 4 doublers. Do I need any more? Probably not. Might just leave it at that. 55 points expected. I want at least 80. It'd be nice, wouldn't it? That'd be good. Hopefully I get 65, 70. That'll be really good. Trying to pump that rank up. Trying to make up for the gains I've lost over the last 3 weeks when I was well under a mil. In 2 weeks, I went down to 1.7. So we got there for 1 week. Let's do it another week. Hopefully we can get some good results. So thank you very much for tuning in to my Gameweek 31 preview. I hope you all have a good week and you're enjoying the FPL being back. We've got a lot of game weeks coming up. We've got this game week, then you get a week's break, so that's good. But unfortunately, we're barreling towards the end of the season. It's been a long season, but I think I'm going to miss the footy when it finishes. But I hope you all have a good season and had a good game week 30. And I'm wishing you all a good game week 31. I hope all your arrows are greens and your differential score hat tricks. Have a good week. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Luke, FPL Crusader. Cheers.